Good morning from whichever place you're watching us from. I'm doing this to encourage somebody and to tell you that if you are willing maybe to create your own content and you're waiting for a day that you're going to have your super class cameras and a big team of editors, then you may not start there. For me, what I do this with the available resources. The many videos that I do them using my phone. Sometimes you put a stand and then you start doing it yourself. But like this video that I'm doing, a friend of mine is holding the phone for me so that we can record this and update you guys on the things that are happening in the farm. So if you are a young person who has always been willing to start doing content, and you are waiting for a day that you're going to have the supersonic kind of cameras to begin, then you may not begin. Actually use whatever you have. The available resources, use them and just do what it requires. So that's a few that I'm not so well versed in, but I thought that I need to mention to you so that usiseme nangoja tu the day I'll get the biggest camera. Start with what you have. You have a phone and you feel you have something you want to tell the internet, this is the right time to begin. Begin with what you have. Back to the farm. This is what is called a coffee tree. I said I'll be doing this to talk about the diversification you can have in your farm. You find that there are areas that almost every crop does well. I've been moving around with you from the onions to the cabbages to the ash avocados to the miraa trees, and now I thought I need to touch something about the coffee trees. This is what is called the coffee tree, and as you can see, they're in the flowering stage. So what happens here is that you find you harvest coffee and then you sell. Then that coffee is paid in maybe twice a year. Like what you think that we just finished plucking coffee. You can see here, what is here is the berries that this is the berries that were harvested from here. Now it's flowering. So the farmer is yet to receive the money. But at one time towards maybe November, the money will be paid. What am I saying? The importance of diversification as a farmer is that you will have continuous uh, cash flow. You will not at a given time when other crops are not ready for selling, you will now be harvesting other plants. For example, this coffee, you'll find that when this money is going to be paid, maybe pesa ya majani bado ijalipwa. So this farmer is able to carry on with his activities in the farm and pay his bills comfortably. And behind me, you can also see there is a macadamia tree. Macadamia tree in this farm sometimes offers a shade. That is what I was talking about. You find that when it is hot, the trees that grow over, they provide the shade to the coffee. Sometimes you find people tell you that much shade. Okay, I said in crops like onions, you don't do so much shade because you find the young seedlings require some direct sunlight. But when it comes to coffee, you find that coffee is a tree bush that grows and sometimes it's able to even outgrow other crops. So you find if you have other trees, I've talked about the macadamia tree, so you find that when you're not harvesting the coffee tree, you are harvesting macadamia. So you'll be getting capital from other crops. And then still on the place of diversification, there is also this other tree that is planted here. This is what we call a mukima tree. It's called the graveria. So it's as it grows, it still offers the shade to your coffee trees, and at the same time you can harvest this one. You can harvest this for timber, for firewood, and for other things. So maintaining a coffee tree is not that hard. What you do is that you have to make sure that you weed, you control weeds. You can use herbicides or you can do manual weeding, and then you control pests and disease. Sometimes you find there are other diseases that we have, like the coffee rust. We still have the fungal diseases due to baridi mingi. So what you need to do is that you control weed, number one, you control diseases, and you control pests. The pests that are moving here, some that moves around here, the worms, you find that you have got worms that even penetrate. So once you're able to do that, the other thing you do is that fertilizer application, we do it here around before the onset of the rain. And as we are anticipating there will be rain, you find that other thing you do is to apply manure. You can see at the base you've got hii tu ni mavi ya ng'ombe, mbolea inaitwa mavi mushkila. This is mbolea too, and it is very easy to maintain a coffee tree. If you have a few cows in your farm, they produce at the beginning they give you milk, and also they give you manure. So this mbolea you just apply at the base of this coffee, so that the root hairs are able to feed. Then there is also another thing you can do to your farm. You cover the soil. This is the mulch that you've used. This is from a farm that we were plowing, and this is the remains of that farm had napier grass. So after plowing the napier grass, we are using this as our mulch. I don't know what agronomists will tell me about this, but other than throwing this away or burning it, we found it worth that we can dump it in our farm, and it is acting as a mulch, covering our soil. And you remember what we talked about mulch. Mulch covers the soil and prevents the soil from losing water through when you heat the soil. When the soil is hit by sun, the water content or the moisture content escapes. But when you find you have mulch, you've covered your soil, it prevents the soil from, or the moisture content from evaporating or from escaping. Another importance of mulching your coffee plantation is that it prevents emergence of weeds. Now that you've covered the entire surface, you find that you are able to control weeds. So there are a number of importance on mulch and the other disadvantages. Some will tell you that when you have mulch in your farm, it acts as hiding places for the pest. But remember, we said you really need to use the pesticides to control the pest in your coffee farm. So that is all about the coffee plantation and farming coffee. But this is the wider topic of diversification. The many things that you can do in your farm. You can do coffee, as you can see, we have coffee here. I've shown you the onions that you're doing, the cabbages, the ash avocados, and other things. So this one enables you that you still have money when still cultivating other crops, and reduces over-reliance to one crop. So you are able to diversify. Another thing I would like to touch is that I talked about this. You can look at this plant, it is in the flowering stage. But looking at this one, it has got some berries. And this is actually what happens even in life. That is why I was coming, that there is no competition in life. You find this coffee is in the same farm, it's in the flowering stage, and this coffee still in the same farm has got berries. Some are ripe, some are not ripe. So it's the same case we have in life. You are in the same environment, but a friend of yours achieves or reaches a place you've not reached, and you feel like giving up. But this morning I can tell you that it happens not in people alone, but also in plants. Some are in flowering stage, some are not even ready to flower, some are being harvested, some are not ripe. So there is nothing that we've done to this coffee to make sure that it is having berries and the other one are flowering. It is just nature that controls everything. So do your part in life, play your part very well, and then do the natural things that you can do. Then the supernatural one, you leave them to the creator. So that is all about diversification and talking about the many things you can do in your farm. So if you've got any question about, we will still be discussing about coffee into details. Actually talking about the species we have. This is called Roiro 11. Roiro 11 has got an history. We also have others like Batian, we have like the SL. Actually this is the grafted one. The root stock, as I talked about, is made of SL. And then that was because the SL has got deeper, it has got the roots that goes deeper to get some water and the nutrients. Then the top one is the Roiro, so it's called Roiro grafted. We'll be talking about so many things. We still have Batian that grows a little bit tall. It's somewhere I don't think you can see that. Tutafika tu huko. It grows taller than this, so it requires a lot of feeding. If you feed it well, you are able to get some good harvest. And an estimate of what happens in coffee, you know, as it grows, this one will still have, it's still got a long way to go. Uh, Agronomists and people who do research talk about a coffee giving you 10 kgs per harvest or per year. So after harvesting, like when these flowers will develop into cherries and berries, you harvest them. At the end of the harvest, they talk about it giving you 10 kilograms of coffee, of fresh coffee. So it depends with the feeding that we've talked about. Good management of pests and diseases and all that. So those are the topics that we'll be covering as we talk about coffee and other crops. So until next time, we'll be talking about a different crop. So stay tuned. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, we are updating a lot of things on farming. And if you've got any question, kindly do so pale kwa comment section so that we can handle it. And if there is any addition that you feel that you can maybe add, we will still look at it. So until the next time when I'll be doing a different crop, or maybe still talking more about coffee and maybe other crops from me and from this farm, all I want to say is thank you for the support, and from me, it's a goodbye.